Welcome to the theater, pal. It's the MC of the night, rapping to the tunes. And tonight, I bring you Amityville 5, also known as Amityville 1992, It's About Time, also known as Amityville, It's About Time, also known as just Amityville 1992, also known as the fucking craziest Amityville movie ever made. Amityville 1992, It's About Time, directed by Tony Randall and starring Stephen Mocht, Sean Weatherly, and Megan Ward. This movie's friggin' nuts, and I'm so excited to be sharing this review with you. This is, of course, the second installment in the Vinegar Syndrome Amityville Cursed Collection box set. That's a spine, isn't that nice? This is a film I remember quite fondly. I'm a big fan of one of the actresses in here, Megan Ward. She appeared in a lot of Full Moon movies, Arcade, Transfers 2, Crash and Burn, and I think she's in Transfers 3 for a little bit. She is gorgeous, big fan of her, and when I saw she was in this movie and she has some sexy stuff to do, I was all in. So I've seen this movie quite a bit. Now, it's not a great movie, obviously, as you can probably guess. It's not a great movie, but as far as Amityville spin-offs go, this is, in my opinion, the best. We get a big bombshell dropped on us in the beginning of the movie when we find out that the Amityville house has been torn down, which means we'll never see this house again, according to the canon set by this movie. I don't remember the other two films in the Cursed Collection, which I'll be doing later. I don't know if they ever reference the house again, if we ever see the house again. I know it's all about cursed items. I believe the next one is a mirror, and then the last one is called Dollhouse, so you can guess what that one's about. This one is about a clock that comes from the Amityville house, or whatever is left of the Amityville property. This clock is given to an architect, and he comes to sunny California. And anyway, he comes home from destroying the house in New Jersey, and he brings this clock back, saying, "Hey, this is a souvenir. This was a gift that was given to me from the houses we tore down, and we're building some new houses or whatever, some new land development over there. Here's this cool clock. It's a really neat clock, kind of a little mantelpiece clock, not little, but medium size. Anyway, he sets it up on his mantelpiece, and it all goes to hell because it happens to be super freaking haunted." This one takes kind of a Clive Barker-esque direction because what we get essentially is a haunted clock that is somehow connected to a medieval school. I think they said he was like a school principal or something like that. He owned like a boys' school where he was also practicing, black magic or Satan worship or whatever, and he would torture and murder children. And somehow the clock is connected to this guy. This guy's never shown up in any of the canon connected to Amityville, but apparently in this one they're adding this guy. And so then the question remains, was Amityville the house haunted, or was it just full of all these items that were haunted as ass, and that's why the house was haunted? Was it the lamp from the last movie? Was it the clock? Was it the mirror from the next one and the dollhouse from the next one? Or was the house haunted and these items just kind of absorbed that? It remains to be seen because it's never answered, and that's kind of fun to speculate about. However, we're dealing with a clock, and it's apparently connected to a medieval Satan worshiper, and the clock goes about turning the house into a house of horrors. This one stretches credibility a little bit, but who cares at this point? The clock has the power, whatever the possessed element of the clock has the power to affect time and space within the house. It also has the ability to apparently create realistic hallucinations. In the beginning of the film, one of my favorite actors is in here, besides Megan Ward, Stephen Mocht. Stephen Mocht was also in the Transfers movies. He is the dad in Monster Squad. He's just a great actor, very genuine, very likable, just very, believable dude. Here he plays the architect dad who gets the clock. Great actor. Unfortunately, he's sidelined for a lot of the movie because early on he gets attacked by a rabid dog. He has his leg chewed up. Great scene, very very visceral, very realistic. And it turns out it was kind of a hallucination, but he's still really injured. So he spends most of the movie in bed, which is a shame because they kind of take the teeth out of the movie really early. It's going to lose a star just because Stephen Mocht doesn't play a bigger part in the movie, unfortunately. However, it gives room for everyone else to enjoy the nuttiness. The real lead in the film is Shawn Weatherly. She plays Stephen Mock's ex-girlfriend, and she is a hata tamale. As a matter of fact, there is a lovemaking scene, and you get to see her naked, and it is quite amazing. I knew nothing about Shawn Weatherly, to be honest, but I looked her up because that's the kind of reviewer I am. I believe in research, and, let's just say I enjoyed my research. But the real star of the film are the effects, and this film was directed by Tony Randall, who just came off of Hellraiser 2. So the film really does have kind of a Hellraiser-esque, rubber effect, goopy vibe to it, which is fantastic. Now, the clock, whatever the ghost in the clock is, I don't think we ever really meet it, starts to affect the family. Megan Ward's character, she plays the teen daughter who's sort of like nervous around her boyfriend, and she's trying to, she's growing up and she's a teenage girl and all this stuff. So the evil sort of infects her and makes her a sexy succubus demon kind of thing, where she tricks her boyfriend into this kind of like puddle of poop that melts him. It doesn't make any sense, but again, who cares? It's friggin' fun to watch, and it's really creepy, and it's kind of a dream logic. It gets a dream logic pass, essentially. Shawn Weatherly does try to keep the family together. She's a great final girl as she tries to figure out what's happening and do her best by the family. Now, of course, it isn't easy because none of it makes any sense, and she doesn't really know why it's happening until she sort of makes the connection towards the end that the clock is responsible. I won't go into details, but I will say that there is one amazing kill in this film that involves an old lady and a diaper delivery truck. It is fantastic. Really well edited, really well shot, and with a great, very great final bit that I think is just wonderful. And for me, one of the highlights of the film. Did I also mention Megan Ward is in this, and she's a highlight of the film, and we see her in a bra and panties? That is also a highlight of the film for me. But I digress, because my wife may be watching this. Honey, I love you. Essentially, this is the least Amityville of the Amityville films. We only see the house sort of in dream flashbacks, and it's honestly just the windows are sort of superimposed on the ultra-modern California home. Which, by the way, it has like those lucite blocks that you only saw in the 80s, and like the lighting is purplish. It's very 80s, this movie, but it's from the 90s. But it feels very 80s to me. I don't know why. You'll see what I mean, the architecture and things like that. But we don't really see the house itself. We don't spend any time in the house. It's gone. We do see flashes of the exterior of the house. That's about it. It's all about this clock. And, I can't say it makes for a really compelling villain. But in the end, one really great moment, Shawn Weatherly's trying to break the clock, and she hits it with something, but she misses, and she strikes the wall, and she pulls the plaster away, and it appears as if the clock has infected the house completely, and behind the wall, the entire house has become clockwork. Now that was a cool friggin' effect. I love that detail very much. It makes the film very, very unique, very, very different. It's got some real visceral moments, some really creepy things happen. There's a lot of goopy kind of black slime stuff that sort of becomes the main antagonist. Very X-Files, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of black goopy oil kind of stuff in X-Files. This is sort of, I don't know if they take a page from each other, but there's a lot of black goopy slime in this. That's sort of our main bad guy. That's really how we see the ghost in this movie. That's sort of, whenever you see that, you know you're in trouble. So couple a really great cast with some really great effects, a director who's not afraid to go for the gusto. This is exactly the Amity film that we wanted, and it gets 4 stars from me. Now, I would have given it 5 stars, but because Stephen Mock doesn't really play a huge part, and there's no real connection to Amityville. I mean, this could have been called anything. It could have been called The Clock House. It didn't have to be Amityville. Really, the only thing that makes it Amityville is that they say, oh, actually, do they even mention? Yeah, they do. They mention Amityville, I think, once in the movie. But because it's not really connected to Amityville, and because Stephen Mock is sidelined, I can't give it a full 5 stars, but 4 is high praise for this movie. Megan Ward is beautiful, by the way, so I would watch it for her. She is fantastic in this movie. I'm shocked she didn't get more work, but she's great in this, and so is Stephen Mock. And Shawn Weatherly, well, I suggest you do some research. Well, pal, that's my review of Amityville 1992. It's about time. This one is a real fun watch. It's what I was kind of hoping for from part 4. Some more balls and some more teeth. This one has balls and teeth to spare. This is a fun watch, a great Halloween movie, great all-around anytime horror movie. I would recommend this to anyone, even if they've never seen an Amityville movie. It doesn't matter because it's not really an Amityville movie. It's kind of an Amityville movie. It sort of gets away with it just by saying, oh, the clock is from Amityville. But none of the stuff that happens in here ever happened in the Amityville house, technically. So, the connection is very, very faint. I should mention, if you're interested in picking this up, the box set is almost sold out as of the recording of this video, but this may be sold separately, and it does have an interview with the director and the producer. That'll do it for tonight's installment of the Cursed Collection / Spooktober / Master Chaos Theater. I've got to close the theater down. It's time to pull the curtain across the silver screen. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope this video has found you happy, healthy, and well, my friend. I wish you the best. I really do. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you do, you'll see me again, because Master Chaos comes at you daily. And until we meet again, I wish you a very pleasant good day, good evening, or good night. This has been your friendly neighborhood Master Chaos, and you have been entertained.